Hey, what's going on? What's going on? It's your boy, Joe Cash Flow, man. Live tonight. Oh my God. I know tonight. You ain't seen the boy in a minute. In a minute. Oh my God. But I'm live tonight. I'm here. We made it. It's Friday night and I feel all right. The party is here on the west side, man. Dude, uh, first of all, let me start by saying that I am. Ah, I miss you guys. I miss you guys. I am like, dang, dude. I haven't been on the show in a while, and Straw Hat Podcast on Twitch already in here talking about, man, we in this. I'm like, man, dude, I appreciate you, my boy. Straw Hat Podcast, by the way. We called me out, and he was completely right. Like, where has the show been at? And I haven't been. And I miss you guys. I do. But I'm back. I'm here. We got some fire that we're going to be doing. And if you've already seen what's going across your screen right now, we're going to jump right into it because we got some reaction videos. I got some notes. I've got some stuff to talk about, and it's a special time to be here. So whether you join in on, we got YouTube, we got Twitch, man, and of course we even got IG, man. I got the IG fam on this screen right here, man. If you are in here right now, man, we appreciate you jumping on, and of course, man, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, follow, like, share, do all that. Let's go ahead and get right into this live episode because this bad boy tonight, oh, it's jam flipping packed. And it's jam packed. I haven't done a political episode in a while. And there's been so much that has gone on since my last show. And we got to talk about the main thing of the main thing. Now, if you're new to the Joe Cashflow Show, because some of you guys are going to watch this after the fact, you got to understand this. Guys, I'm all about the money. If it ain't about the money, I'm all about the paper, the dinero. That's what I'm all about, man, the cash flow. And anytime we talk on this show, it's going to be about money. And when I say it's going to be about money, it's got to be about money. And even when we talk about politics, guess what we got to talk about when we talk about politics? We got to talk about money, man. We got to talk about the cash. We got to see who in the world is best for us. The ones that want this paper, the cash flow money makers, man, the ground shakers, me and you. So, Joe Cashflow, that's what it's all about. And yeah, we like to do our show Friday night, at 10 o'clock ish, because we want to be the late show to motivate our entrepreneurs who's coming in. And they're like, man, it's been a long week. It's been a long week. But man, I need some good entertainment. But I still need to talk about money because they're all about the cash flow. And that's what we're here for. So that's to my people who's new to me, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, and of course, IG. So what's tonight all about? Man, tonight is all about the heavyweight power battle, the Trump versus Harris. And if you looked at the description, looked at it. Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Boy Rion said, man, I'm on YouTube now, but I'm here tonight, man. What's up going on YouTube? Rion Hunt, man. This dude, by the way, Straw Hat Podcast is going crazy and blowing up. You got to check my boy out, man. Especially if you a Zorro fan, you a Luffy fan, you got to check him out, man. Straw Hat Podcast going crazy. But guys, man, we got a heavyweight battle. I'm not even lying. And I'm gonna have to actually get Rion back on here because we had a good conversation on one of our episodes and reactions. And oh boy, this has became a real heavyweight battle. I don't know if you guys really understand what's going on between Trump and Harris, but we did get a chance to now officially see and hear from both of them with their perspective announcements and addresses. The RNC address went first, and then we got the DNC address. And I got to tell you that there was a lot of highlights, and I think there was a lot of low points for both camps. And we're gonna have some fun with it because there's a few things I want to point out, but we at least got to hear both their economic plans. Now, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to tell you who I'm voting for yet because I don't care. I'm going to tell you exactly who I'm going to vote for. But me, I'm being very objective. I've actually, look, let me tell you, I've been asked, by people who look like me, my fellow brothers and sisters, and I got asked who you're voting for. And I answered a simple question. This is how I answered the question. I said, I don't know yet. I just kind of want to see. And my fellow Black African Americans, they didn't like the answer, let me check it out. Because I feel like just because, I just want to, listen to both parties and see what they have to offer. As a businessman, as a person who, I kind of use the taxations and different things to my advantage financially. Me personally, I feel like, dude, I at least want to hear both of them out. But when you're Black in America, and if there's anybody who is any color that looks somewhat like you don't need to listen to anything they got to say. Your job is to just shut up and vote for them just completely based off of they look like you. And I don't think that that's cool. And I got some hate for it. And by the way, I haven't even chose who I haven't chose. But I just wanted to hear both of them out and hear their economic plans. Let's talk about the money. So, for me, that's what I want to talk about. By the way, if you got something that you want to say in the comments, by all means, throw it up in the comments. Man, if you got something that you want to say, I do have the Instagram live. Throw it up on the IG, Twitch, throw it up. I don't mind. We can talk about it. But I'm just saying, I'm giving you an objective view. I'm going to react to some stuff, and we're going to look at it together. By the way, I am actually very interested in both parties at this point, to be honest with you. And I have some things. First of all, I want to say this as we get started. We're going to talk about the money. We're going to start with Kamala Harris first because, to be honest with you, her DNC address did not have nowhere near as much about economics that Trump's did. Not to say that she doesn't care about it, because she actually had some points. And she said some things, and I looked it up to see what she was saying as an attorney general. She had some things. So this is what we're going to kind of go through. Let me give you the timeline of how we're going to talk about this thing as we get started. So what we're doing is we're going to look at Kamala Harris DNC speech, and then we're going to point out. Now, we're not going to listen to the whole thing. We're only going to point out the economic parts of it when it has to do with you and our money, right? So that's the only things we're going to look at. Then we're going to look at Trump. We're going to go to Trump's, and we're going to see what his part and what he said about his economics. And then if we got time at the end, we'll maybe even compare the two. If we don't have time, that means it'll be a part two. But at least we're going to go through and react to what we heard from Kamala at DNC and what we heard from Trump at the DNC, and particularly about the money. Now, they both had some wild things to say on both ends about some other stuff. But here's the thing. It doesn't really matter if it ain't about the money. And that's all I care about, is talking about the money. How does it benefit me and you as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as people who want a better life for our families and pass down generational wealth? How does their address benefit us? Because the scary thing about an address is most people only listen to the RNC address and the DNC address. So they don't really listen to everything else. And a lot of people make decisions completely and utterly based off of that. So for me, let's just look at it and let's hear if anybody is kind of, saying some things of BS. And now, first thing I gotta say is, I don't know, for the viewers, I don't have the time, but you just have to let me play something. You got to see something before we really go through, because the reactions of both parties are going to play heavy into what normal people are going to look at. And I think this is important to bring up, and the reaction. So I just want you to kind of hear when Kamala just comes up and hear Trump, and just let's listen to this really, really quickly.
States of America, Kamala Harris. Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, don't be loose.
And here we have the moment, Vice President Kamala Harris, the first Black woman, the first Asian American to accept her party's nomination, a major party, to be President of the United States. She'll make the case tonight. She'll reintroduce herself to the nation.
All right. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to fast forward it just a little bit, because you got to understand. One thing about the DNC, just see real quick.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, I'm gonna keep it a buck. The DNC was jumping, flat out was jumping. I'm gonna just say what it is. That mug was jumping in the DNC. All right, I'm gonna play Trump in the RNC. Give me a second. I'm gonna play Trump in the RNC.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Wow. And thank you, Dana.
Okay, wait a minute. I thought I had I'm sorry about that. Let me do something, because that is technically would not be fair. That I thought I had Trump when he was first coming out. So I did not have that. I have the other video queued. So let me go back, because I just want y'all to see. I don't want people to call me out to say that I was playing it. Where's the full thing? When he walks out. Okay, here we go. I think here's the full thing. Here we go. Let me go to this tab. All right, here we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Wow.
Hey, now there's different times. I get it. There are different times, but I'm just.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you're probably thinking, what does this have to do with money? Whoever you plan on voting for, I'm gonna tell you right now, just off the top, the DNC looks a lot more excited. Now, I'm just saying. Now, I know this is like a big difference in time, but you guys let me know in the comment section. They was just going crazy. Excuse me, sorry about that. They was going crazy. They cheered. By the way, the crowds do look very different. I mean, this is just, I just got to state this because we're going to talk about money, but I have to state that the crowds do look very much different. And the energy, in my opinion, was very much different. Very much different. And I think that's going to have a role to play when they talk about the economy and talk about money. And I just want to bring that up as we go through. You're going to hear one crowd going nuts for everything. And you're going to hear another crowd be like, okay, cool. This is great. This is kind of what we expect. I think this is important when you're looking at, that's what I'm here for. I'm going to help you go through the information. We're going to go through this together, but I think it's very important when we're actually trying to listen to their economic policies. Now, with that being said, let's just get right into it. Kamala takes a little bit of time, not a lot. But her speech, by the way, was shorter than Trump's, considerably shorter than Trump's. Her speech was about 38 minutes. Trump was a real hour, 30-minute speech. He was a full-on hour, 30-minute speech. So I'm saying all to say because you're going to be able to literally see the difference between you're going to see the difference between a more laid out plan for the economy through Trump and more of a just here's some features, here's a few things that I've done from Kamala. Now, I'm just giving you that. This is not to say that her speech was a bad speech or a good speech. Neither was saying that Trump's was, but I just want to lay that out. So let's go ahead and start actually reacting to a few things really quickly, because I think this is where we're going to really start getting out. Kamala, by the way, does not talk about economy that long. From at least my notes, out of her 30-minute speech, she spends all but about from 16 minutes to 25-ish minutes is really as long as she spends on the economy for the most part. So I want to start with, but her main part starts around the 22-minute mark to the 25. So in reality, she spends a real about 3 minutes talking about the economy and what she's going to do. But she does say something interesting in minute 16 that we're going to first start off with and kind of listen and kind of react to. By the way, hit that like, hit that follow, hit that subscribe. If you're on Instagram, if you're on IG, Twitch, if you're on IG, Twitch, YouTube, comment down below. I'm watching all platforms. Let's have a discussion. Let's have some fun with it. But just for a timeline, because by the way, it took me a while to really find the timeline for Kamala. It was much easier to find it was much easier to find the timestamps for Trump. But for Kamala, it was very difficult to find the timestamps. All right, so let's get right to it.
For women and children against predators who abuse them. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big banks, delivered $20 billion for middle-class families who faced foreclosure, and helped pass a homeowner bill of rights, one of the first of its kind in the nation.
So I think this is really where this is just kind of what she was saying as Attorney General. To be honest with you, I didn't even know what she did. Right? People say to do their research. I personally did not know. When she was Attorney General, she said she took on the big banks and she passed a homeowner's bill of rights, the first of the nation. Now, keep in mind, I want to also keep in mind as we go through this, one of the biggest differences between Trump and Kamala is Trump was actually the president. Kamala was actually the vice president. There is a difference, and we've got to see essentially both of them in the White House, but not in the same role. So I'm going to pull up the what she did, but I just want you to hear the rest of this really quickly.
I stood up for veterans and students being scammed by big for-profit colleges, for workers who are being cheated out of their wages, the wages they were due, for seniors facing elder abuse. I fought against the cartels who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings, who threaten the security of our border and the safety of our communities. And I will tell you, these fights were not easy, and neither were the elections.
Okay, so let's take a pause, and then here's the thing. I'm gonna kind of step back just a couple seconds. The key points that she's saying that she fought for banks, homeowners. She talked about how she talked about how she even, what she say?
Their wages, the wages
the wages, she fought for wages.
they were due, for seniors facing elder abuse. I fought against the cartels who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings, who threaten the security of our border.
So Kamala's pretty much stating, and she's like, hey, look, as the Attorney General, this is kind of what I've already done. So she's kind of flexing, like, look, I've kind of done some things. So let's kind of see. I'm going to pull up when she announced in the state of California her homeowner bill of rights. Now, why is this important to bring up? Because remember, Kamala right now going for president, she's talking about bringing back the you're gonna hear what she says, but bringing a opportunity economy for the middle class and different things. So she says she's already done some of these things before, and she's at a first of its kind. So let's see if we can look at this here. It says Attorney General Kamala Harris announces the California Homeowner Bill of Rights to take effect on January 1st. So this bill was taking effect in 2013. Wait a minute. So on Instagram, by the way, I see your comment on Instagram. Aaron on Instagram said, borders ? The border, Cesar, who didn't even visit. Yeah, I don't know. She said she fought against the borders in California. People are saying she didn't even visit them. I'm not sure. I know we're going to talk about the money, but Trump does mention borders in his economic plan. Not what Kamala doesn't mention that. So when I get to Trump, we'll kind of talk about that. But really quickly, today announced that the California Homeowner Bill, a landmark package of legislation that extends key mortgage and foreclosure protection. So when she says she's fighting against the big banks, she's fighting against foreclosure protections. So if you don't know what a foreclosure is, this is for people who aren't able to pay their mortgage. Then the bank comes in, essentially takes their home back and forecloses on their home. So they have a quote for her. For too long, struggling homeowners in California have been denied fairness and transparency when dealing with their lending institutions. These laws give homeowners new rights as they work through the foreclosure process and will give California a fair opportunity to stay in their homes. I'm not sure what this means, but the limited knowledge I understand about foreclosures and owning a home and then lending from the bank, essentially you make an agreement when you purchase a home that you remember when you're buying a home, you can't afford that home if you're not buying it cash because you're lending, you're getting in debt with the bank. And then the bank has its rules of payment. And if you don't pay it, just like anything, you owe them money, they're going to come and get the asset. So let's understand what this bill, pretty much the protection is for that. So it says there is a restriction on dual track foreclosures where a lender forecloses on a borrower despite being in a discussion over a loan modification to save the home. Okay, struggling homeowners are guaranteed. Lenders will provide them a single point of contact with knowledge of their loan and direct access to the bank's decision makers. Okay, the statute of limitations to prosecute mortgage-related crimes is extended from 1 to 3 years, allowing the Attorney General's office to investigate and prosecute complex mortgage fraud crimes. Okay, I mean they acting like this is 2008. We kind of already dealt with that. The Attorney General's office can use statewide grand juries. Okay, purchasers of foreclosed homes are required to give tenants at least 90 days before starting eviction proceeds. If the tenant has a fixed term lease of 1 year or less, the new owner must honor the lease unless the owner can prove the exceptions. Local governments have additional tools to fight blight costs, multiple vacant. All right, so I mean, response to the state's foreclosure and mortgage crisis. The Mortgage Fraud Strike Force was created to investigate May 2011 to investigate misconduct at all stages of the mortgage process. Okay, so I mean, this I guess this is what I'm trying to understand. This is what I'm trying to understand. What this whole deal is. She's kind of talking about it as this is a groundbreaking thing. Maybe I'm being a little insensitive, and I don't know how big of a deal it is in California, maybe living in Texas. But I think the basics of it is if you buy a home and then you get foreclosed on it, at the end of the day, you're going to get foreclosed. So just giving them more time that's the groundbreaking thing. I don't understand. California is one of the most expensive state to live in. It's extremely expensive to afford a home in California anyway. I don't know. So the way she made it like a groundbreaking thing, what she's already done. All right, so let's kind of fast forward to her policies. So when we start getting to her actual policies, by the way, make a comment below. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking that to me, it's like, okay, cool. You're extending how long it's going to take to be foreclosed on. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the person can't afford the home. I don't know how that's fighting against the bank. If you don't pay, you just don't pay. That's, kind of your deal, financial education, to kind of learn the bank. Yeah, banks do screw people every single day, but we kind of get that now. All right, so let's see. On 22, this is when we're going to start listening to her economic plan. Let's kind of give some parts of listening. We're going to react to some stuff.
We're back.
By the way, I'm telling y'all, when I pull up Trump, I promise you, when I pull up Trump's, you're going to be like thinking, what? The people in the DNC just didn't, I don't know, man. It was just such a weird thing because I feel like when I pull up Trump and the DNC, in the RNC, they just wasn't really about that life, man, like that there was with Kamala. They just really, really wasn't about it. So either way, let's listen real quick.
And we are charting.
I mean, like, seriously, you see how crazy they are in there? It's nuts. The energy is insane.
A new way forward to a future with a strong and growing middle class, because we know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success. And building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. And I'll tell you, this is personal for me. The middle class is where I come from. My mother kept a strict budget. We lived within our means, yet we wanted for little. And she expected us to make the most of the opportunities that were available to us and to be grateful for them. Because as she taught us, Opportunity is not available to everyone. That's why we
I gotta rewind that really quickly, if you guys don't mind. I just want to make sure I heard. She said that her mother told her that opportunity is not available to everyone.
grateful for them because, as she taught us, opportunity is not available to everyone. That's why we will create what I call an opportunity economy where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed.
Well, yeah. Rihanna, yeah, definitely. Opportunity is not available to everyone. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Yeah. That's crazy to say that opportunity is not available to everyone. I'm not, by the way, I'm telling y'all, I want to just listen to what they have to say. But to say that opportunity is not available to everyone and the government is going to be the one to create opportunity for everyone is wow. That is that's more than a stretch. Completely disagree with her on that. Opportunity really is available to everyone, especially now, especially with the internet, especially the way our country is set up. We have a world, we're so interconnected in the world now that you can do anything that you want to do at any time, anywhere at this point easily. And to say that opportunity is not available to everyone in the United States of all places is crazy. I completely disagree with her. You guys can let me know in the chat if you disagree with me. You feel like opportunity is not available to you. I would really like to hear anybody saying that they don't feel like they have opportunities, because I just completely disagree. Opportunity is available. What opportunities are available at a certain time based on, do you qualify or have you put in the work, or it's not given to you? That's a whole other statement. Some people do get better opportunities to start off because of maybe what their parents had. But to say that opportunity is not available to everyone as a blanket statement, and then to double back and say, I am going to be the one to create opportunity for everyone in the United States is crazy to me. And that's also like saying, that's a weird thing. I really don't want to get into that too deeply, because that is for another episode. But I completely disagree with Vice President Harris saying that opportunity is not available for everyone. That's a crazy thing to say to me. And I think that personally, let me just say this and I'm leaving. I think they forget that she was in office for 3 years. So to sit there and say that opportunity is not available for everyone, and you was actually in office for 3 years, what was you doing about that? What was you guys doing about that? You're literally like, to me, it's like, what are you saying? Joe Biden wasn't creating opportunities for everyone for 3 years, and now you're going to be the one to do it? Maybe I'm listening to it wrong. Let's keep it going. I'm about to back it back, but that's a crazy thing to say. Opportunity is not available to everyone.
An economy where everyone has the.
Oh, wait, let me read your comment. Let me read your comment real quick. Rion Hunt is saying, what's crazy is her parents are immigrants. How can you say that opportunity is not available to everyone when your parents have you the opportunity to run for the highest office in the world? Coming from immigrant parents at that, I completely agree. By the way, Kamala's not like 20 years old. Her parents came in when her parents came into the country when you can honestly say that maybe opportunity was not as available as it is today in this economy. And look at what she was able to do, and look what they was able to do. So to sit here and be like, when really you could almost say like, okay, your parents, being in the 50s, you know what I mean, in 60s and coming over here and then saying that, hey man, opportunity was a little bit different. But then to make a statement in 2024 and say opportunity is not available for everyone is a wild statement. To your point, you're running for president of the United States. You as a vice president from immigrant parents who divorced. You went to a black college and look where you're at. An opportunity is not available for everyone. That's a crazy statement to make, to me. Clearly, opportunity is available, but you're going to solve it. I'm really not trying to get into that because that's not what this part is. We just want to listen. Okay, let's keep listening.
A chance to compete and a chance to succeed. Whether you live in a rural area, small town, or big city. And as president, I will bring together labor and workers and small business owners and entrepreneurs and American companies to create jobs, to grow our economy, and to lower the cost of everyday needs like healthcare and housing and groceries. We will provide access to capital.
So here's one of the things that I was talking about, guys. I just want to say this. I'm telling you guys, I promise you, I'm not being a hater. I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to be an American listening. I'm telling you right now, her whole economic plan is about to end. I'm not even joking. The part of her economic plan is about to completely end, and I feel like I have not heard the plan. I could be wrong. I can rewind it, and we can listen to it right over again. But it's really, I'm like, okay. I don't know. She said Rihanna Hunt, just pandering to black people, bro, it's sad. It is sad. It is sad. Telling people, oh, well, that's why, things don't work out for you because you don't have any opportunity, but I'm going to be the one to do it. Crazy. But let's just listen to the rest of what she has from her DNC speech, and listen how the crowd. I'm telling y'all, listen how the people are going nuts in there. To me, I think that's so phenomenal how lit up people are today.
Capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs and founders, and we will end America's housing shortage and protect Social Security and Medicare. Now compare that to Donald Trump, because I think everyone here knows he doesn't actually fight for the middle class.
All right, so just to be clear, I can literally rewind it. I've just been pausing it and stretching it out. In all reality, I can rewind it and we can listen to her entire economic plan together. It was all of about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Now she's going in to talk about Trump. But just to kind of go back, she's going to end the housing shortage. Nothing about what she's actually going to do. By the way, I'm really intending on listening. She's going to talk about Trump real quick, and I think this is important to listen to because she's going to talk about what Trump did not do and what Trump is going to cost Americans. Listen to what she's about to say. This is a very wild thing to say. Listen to what she's going to say, though.
He doesn't actually fight for the middle class. Instead, he fights for himself and his billionaire friends. And he will give them another round of tax breaks that will add up to $5 trillion to the national debt. And all the while, he intends to enact what in effect is a national sales tax, call it a Trump tax, that would raise prices on middle-class families by almost $4,000 a year.
That's so I just want to rewind what she just said. What she is saying that the Trump tax, she's saying the Trump tax is going to raise or cost middle class families $4,000 a year. I just want to make sure I heard that correctly.
Trump tax that would raise prices on middle class families by almost $4,000 a year. Well, instead of a Trump tax hike, we will pass a middle class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million Americans.
Yeah, so Rhea said those tax breaks helped the middle class. They actually did. This is not like, yes, they actually did help the middle class. And what is she even talking about? No, really. So this is something that I actually legitimately tried to look up. I don't have the time to look it up tonight. That I'm not trying to have a 5-hour podcast to detect, because I can do it on both sides, talking about Trump, talking about her. I just never heard of anybody at any point saying that the tax Trump plan is going to cost Americans $4,000 a year. I've actually never heard that before, but she said that that's what it's going to do. And the last time I do remember that I felt like the tax breaks helped personally the middle class. And I know that Trump, now the Harris camp, of course, has said this now, or Biden's actually about to do that. But I do know that Trump was saying that he was going to actually even cut the taxes on where not service members, hospitality workers would not have to pay taxes on tips, right? Food, pretty much people that collect tips, you're not going to have to pay taxes on tips, which I think is a very big deal because it's a gift. It's like a donation. And either way, but that's very unique that she said that. Now, I would love to tell you guys that this was, we got like 10, 15 more minutes of what Kamala has to say about the economy, but let me go ahead and play the last couple seconds of it.
Friends, I believe America cannot truly be prosperous unless Americans are fully able to make their own decisions about their own lives.
Okay, so here's the thing. Just so you can have your own time blocks, if you're watching this now or after the fact, I just want to give you the time blocks. At least what I was able to find in the DNC, in Harris's DNC speech, you can pretty much, if you go to, there's two parts that I think you should listen to, 16-minute mark to 17-minute mark. But the main part is the 22 minutes to 25 minutes and 30 seconds. That is the main part of her economic opportunity plan. Rhiannon Hunt, she's being deceptive. It's just cutting revenue. It's not actually costing anything. It's just less money the government will receive since the rates will drop. A good thing for anyone with a job. Yeah, exactly. So I don't understand. I tried to look. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand where what he's proposing is going to cost him the money. And well, we're going to listen to what Trump is talking about. So, we're going to listen to the horse's mouth and what he's talking about doing in his plan. But I want to at least say this. If you're a business owner right now, you're thinking about cash flow, you're looking at who do I want to vote for? If economic policy is a big part of who you're going to vote for, outside of what people look like, outside of what people say, outside of beliefs, let's just say money is a main motivator for your voting, because you're like, this is going to affect me as a business owner. Ask somebody possibly that you're already in the middle class, trying to get out of the middle class. How does some of these things affect me? As of right now, well, the DNC, this is her coming out party. There was just not a lot that she talked about when it comes down to economic policy. Now, she does spend a massive amount of time talking about abortion, She spent some time talking about Trump and different things, and she gave a lot of time about her story, but she had a very short speech, and all about 5 minutes of it maybe was about economic policy. So let's just kind of switch gears and let's listen to Trump. And he had a lot more time when he talked about economic policies in his particular speech. Now, I gotta say one thing. Trump, funny guy. His whole thing was supposed to be a softer Trump, which he started off trying to keep talk about bringing the America together. And he 100% goes the opposite way on his part. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about economic policies and then listen to crowd sizes and noises, because I thought that was funny. If you watch the Obama Michelle thing, that was, to me, to me personally, this is just me. Don't hate me. I thought that the Obamas was the best part about the DNC speech or DNC thing. The Obamas, whether you like them or don't like them, they're killers on that stage. They go crazy. They really can get the crowd rocking. And they had some freaking funny moments that had me seriously laughing. Either way. All right, so let's just go ahead and let's listen to Trump. Now, Trump, to put this in perspective, Kamala timestamps versus Trump timestamps. All at the top, the speech is just much longer. And when it came down to the period of time, for just about every main point that Trump wanted to talk about when it came down to economy and money, it's 3 to 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes apiece. So we're just going to kind of listen to a couple of those things and maybe react to them as we go, so we can keep the stream in pretty fun, pretty quick. But this is not just the end. We're going to do a part 2 deep dive. I'm probably even going to have my dude, man, get on if he has time, and maybe some other people to get on for us to listen and hear what people got to say. So Trump, we're going to go all the way to Mark 15. Trump spends a lot of time, by the way, talking about in the beginning how he got shot in the ear, and you got to listen to it either way it goes.
Thank you, Kid Rock, sometimes referred to as Bob.
By the way,
In the great Commonwealth.
the crowd difference, I'm telling you, don't let the crowd stuff fool you. The crowd difference in size and the crowd difference in vocal ability is not even on the same page. The DNC was rocking. I got to give them that. The DNC was rocking. All right.
And again, when speaking to the family, I told them, I said, well, I'm going to be sending you a lot of money, but it can't compensate. They all said the same thing. You're right, sir. We appreciate so much what you're doing, but nothing can take the place in the case of Corey. And the other two, by the way, they were very, very seriously injured, but now they're doing very well. They're going to be okay. They're going to be doing very well. They're warriors. So now I ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of.
Just going to fast forward a little bit. Looking at, we're trying to get to the part where this is where he's going to be talking about energy independence in the economy.
A greater love than to lay down one's life for others. This is the spirit that forged America in her darkest hours. And this is the love this is what we need. Despite such than ever, I am more determined than ever, and so are you. So is everybody in this room. Thank you. Thank you very much. Our resolve is unbroken and our purpose is unchanged to deliver. Nothing will stop me in this mission because our vision is righteous and our cause break. We will not bend. and our magnificent country. And everything I have to give with all of the energy and fight in my heart and soul, I pledge to our nation tonight. Thank you very much. I pledge that to our nation. We're going to turn our nation around, and we're going to do it very quickly. Thank you. This election should be about the issues facing our country and how to make America successful, safe, free, and great again. In an age when our politics too often divide us, now is the time to remember that we are all fellow citizens. We are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we must not criminalize dissent or demonize political. Nobody has ever seen before. In that spirit, the Democrat political opponent, especially since that is not true. In fact, I am the one saving democracy for the people. And very big news, as you probably just read, on Monday, a major ruling was handed down in canon. Me, we're totally.
All right, so apparently I had my timestamps all kind of wrong. I don't know why I can't find the part where he talks about energy dependent. I'm getting kind of pissed off. Let me see where this at.
And Melania, thank you very much.
Yeah, he's still doing all his talking. Let me see. Where the heck is it at where he talks about being energy dependent?
And Jason, the biggest star in country. And give us your vote. I am trying to buy your vote. I'll be honest about that. We got right to try. They were trying to get that for 52 years. Somebody's terminally ill, and hopefully there's nobody in this audience, but it does happen a lot. They're terminally ill and they can't use our new space age drugs and other things that we are way ahead. We have the greatest doctors in the world, the greatest laboratories in the world, and you can't do it. They've been trying to get that approved for 52 years. Wasn't that easy? The insurance companies didn't want to do it. They didn't want the risk. The labs didn't want to do it because if it didn't work, people are pretty far down the line toward death. They didn't want to do it. The doctors didn't want to have it on their records. So I got competent leadership. We have a growing specter of conflict hangs over Taiwan, Korea. It will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy. We will drill.
Okay, here we go. I don't know what the heck. I don't get why I couldn't find it, but let's start here.
And we don't have fierce people. We have people that are a lot less than fierce, except when it comes to cheating on elections and a couple of other things. Then they're fierce. Then they're fierce. So tonight, I make this pledge to the great people of America. I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy. We will drill, baby, drill.
All right, so he's going to talk a little bit more about it, but I at least want to pause here. Why is this an important thing that Trump is talking about drilling and making us more energy efficient? and how that will bring down the cost. Well, if we're not paying for oil coming overseas and we're just doing it here, it's just going to naturally lower the cost of our energy, which is a good thing for pretty much everybody. I think that's not a bad, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing for everybody. Plus it brings more jobs, and in Texas is like has like more oil than I think Saudi anyway. So it's crazy. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And that energy costs a lot of money. Energy prices has risen up crazy. You're paying so much more per kilowatt. So that being a clear way to bring down or help the economy by people not paying as much, it's not a bad thing.
Can you believe what they're doing? But by doing that, we will lead a large-scale decline in prices. Prices will start to come down. Energy raised it. They took our energy policies and destroyed them. Then they immediately went back to them, but by that time, so much was lost. But we will do it at levels that nobody's ever seen before, and we'll end lots of different things. We'll start paying off debt and start lowering taxes even further. We gave you the largest tax cut. We'll do it more. People don't realize I brought taxes way down, way down, and yet we took in more revenues the following year than we did when the tax rate was much higher. Most people said, how did you do that? Because it was incentive. Everybody was coming to the country. They were bringing back billions and billions of dollars into our country. The companies made it impossible to bring it back. The tax rate was too high, and the legal complications were far too great. I changed both of them, and hundreds of billions of dollars by Apple and so many other companies were brought back into our nation, and we had an economy the likes of which no nation.
So I just got to say this really quick. I'm not fact checking tonight. That's not my goal. I do know that when I did watch a video on fact checking, people are saying that he technically was not right about collecting more money than they put out. Maybe people heard it wrong. Maybe he said it wrong. I don't know. But I think the overall census of being able to bring certain things back here to make things cheaper, and the companies like Apple and big companies who do a lot of business in other countries, bringing that money back is a good thing. Can collect a lot more tax dollars and can make America make some money, and of course can bring more jobs here. So let's just keep listening.
Had ever seen China. We were beating them at levels that were incredible, and they know it. They know it.
Yeah, and by the way, if you think that Trump is lying, you can, or you're going to fact check this afterwards, and you're like, man, BS meter, certain things didn't happen, whatever it may be, yada yada yada. Man, throw it in the comment section. On Twitch, on YouTube, after the fact, I would love to be responding. Let's have a conversation. I might even let you drop in on one of the shows. So either way, point of the matter is, man, throw it up there. We want to know. We want to know. I'm not fact checking it. I'm just listening to what they said based on their economic plans for you as a business owner to make money. Well, let's just assume that everything that they're saying is going to is their plan. So that's all I'm doing. Let's just assume that their plan, who has a more of a plan for you, a business owner, you, someone who wants to make money in the United States, to make cash flow, to get rich, right? How does this work for you? Either way, let's keep going.
We'll do it again, but we'll do it even better. I will end the illegal immigration crisis by closing our border and finishing the wall, most of which I've already built. On the wall, we were dealing with a very difficult Congress. And I said, oh, that's okay. We won't go to Congress. I call it an invasion. We gave our military almost $800 billion. I said, I'm going to take a little of that money because this is an invasion. And we built, most of the wall is already built. and we built it through using the funds because what's better than that? We have to stop the invasion into our country that's killing hundreds of thousands of people a year. We're not going to let that happen.
Is that a real number? I have no idea. Is the invasion that's not what we're looking for with the economy? But I mean, that would hurt your business. But is that a real number where people are getting hundreds of thousands of people are getting killed by the invasion? Seriously, I do not know. Either way.
I will end every single international crisis or with Russia and president. And they had a congressman who was a Democrat and put over all the sanctions, and they did everything possible for Iran. And now Iran is if you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States, think of it, the 10 worst, only going to use the term once, damage that we will restore vision, strength, competence, and just a few short years ago under my presidency, we had the most secure border. We were beating every country. Had no inflation, soaring incomes were going. Nobody can believe it. You can't believe what happened 4 years ago is happening now in reverse. And the world was at peace. Inflation has been a killer for our country. No matter what you make it, it doesn't matter because
I mean, this is a fact. Inflation has been one hell of a it's been hurting people. So that's true. That's true.
Inflation is eating you alive. People that were putting away money, they were making great wages, the highest they've ever made, but they were putting away a lot of money. Now they are just being destroyed. They're not putting away anything. They're barely living. They're going into savings accounts. They're taking out their money to live because of inflation. Inflation, remember, it's called a country buster. You can go back to Germany from 100 years ago. You can go back to any country that suffered great inflation. We've suffered the worst inflation we've ever had. But go back and see what's happened to those countries. We've had the worst inflation we've ever had under this person. But in less than 4 years, our opponents have turned incredible success into unparalleled tragedy and failure. It's been a tremendous failure. Today, our cities are flooded with illegal aliens.
Okay. I'm really not sure where. Apparently, I don't know if I marked the right.
You too. Thank you. It's despair and depression. We cannot and will not let this continue. Less than 4 years ago, and again, we're going to be a great nation again. Thank you. And it will be fixed very, very quickly. So tonight, whether you've supported me in the past, the American dream, that's what we're going to do. You don't even hear about the American dream. I am asking you to be excited. And by the way, the news reports, look at every one of them has said this could be the most organized, best run, and most every single one. Great love in the room. So I better finish strong. This was great. All of the great. I said, oh, gee, that wasn't great. Every single person. I refuse to be the only one. Don't do that to me. This was a great convention. This was love. It's about love for America. Long, boring, meaningless. The pages long. Read them because thank you very much. A Republican Senate. We have many senators. Can't come get places and make America affordable again. We have to make it affordable. It's not affordable. People can't live like this. Under this administration, our current administration, groceries are up 57%, gasoline is up 60 and 70%, mortgage rates have quadrupled. And the fact is, it doesn't matter what they are because you can't get the money anyway. You can't buy houses. Young people can't get any financing to buy a house. The total household costs have increased an average of $28,000 per family under this administration. Republicans have a plan to bring down prices and bring them down.
How real is that? $28,000 a family? cost increase. I don't know if that's real. I'm waiting for the plan, but I don't know. This is where I know there's a lot of people who were fact checking Trump. I know a lot of people fact check. $28,000 increase per year is like over $2,000 a month. I don't know how real that is of a number, where he's getting that number from. I don't feel like everything has went up $2,000 for me, and I'm in the very, very high income earner in America, but I don't know. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. I'm really not. But let's keep it going.
Down very, very rapidly. By slashing energy costs, we will in turn reduce the cost of transportation, manufacturing, and all household goods. So much starts with energy.
Well, I want to say this. Even though Trump may be embellishing a few things. I mean, that's just what he does. We already kind of know this. But here's the point. At least he's given me something very clear on a plan. Let's cut the energy costs, because that is something that affects you. You will always pay energy in America. So let's make it cheaper. Let's make it cheaper to drive around, to transportation, for flights, for cars. Let's make it cheaper to have electricity in your homes. Energy is a big deal. So him focus on energy, bringing it back to the United States as much as possible, and then cutting that cost. You got to understand, this is an actual part of a plan that you can listen to, and it's like, okay, that is a detail that actually does affect your money. And that does affect you as a business owner. Like me, I'm about to close on a new building in my business. And I would love for my energy costs to be cheaper. And part of the reason why I have not got a bigger bill or a bigger building, because me personally, I have had energy bills, electric bills, in my other building at $2,000. And it's like 4,000 square feet. That is like 50 cents per square foot of energy bills. It was madness. And the only reason why I was really that high was because of the cost per kilowatt. So this makes sense. This is part of an economic plan that would help you make more money, is if certain things cost less. Let's keep listening.
And remember, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country by far. We are a nation that has the opportunity to make an absolute fortune with its energy. We have it, and China doesn't. Under the Trump administration, just 3.5 years ago, we were energy independent. But soon we will actually be better than that. We will be energy dominant and supply not only ourselves, but we will supply.
By the way, let me say this. When you're looking at who becomes president, you're looking at opportunities. We're just basing this on the RNC speech. I will tell you, energy dominant, trying to do that, that's not a bad thing. Maybe you can, I don't know, I'm not giving you advice, but maybe that's something that you can look at and invest it into. Just give an idea.
The rest of the world, with numbers that nobody has ever seen, and we will reduce our debt, $36 trillion. We will start reducing that, and we will also reduce your taxes still further. Next, and by the way, they want to raise your taxes 4 times. Think of it. And all my life, I grew up watching politicians. I always loved politics. I guess I was on the other side. I'd watched and they were always talking about, we will give you a tax cut. We will give you a tax cut. My whole life, I was watching, I will give you a tax cut, right, Mr. Congressman? That's all they talked about. This is the only administration that said, we're going to raise your taxes by 4 times what you're paying now, and people are supposed to vote for them? I've never heard it. You're paying too much. We're going to reduce your taxes. still further we.
Trump said that I'm about to say Biden administration, Harris administration, the Harris camp is going to cost you 4 times your taxes. I'm not exactly sure what he means by that. So you're telling me if I'm I don't know, I'm not in there, but let's say if I'm in a 12% tax bracket, 25% tax bracket, my taxes is going to be at 100%. I'm not sure what he means by that. But Kamala said that it's going to cost you an extra $4,000, with, his tax plan. So I guess we really need to start looking at these people's tax plans and who's going to cost us more money.
We gave you the biggest one, as I said. We're going to give you more, and it's going to lead to tremendous growth.
By the way, the whole tax part, there is an executive branch that they have control over. So that is somewhat a very important thing to be looking at when you're looking at money.
We want growth in our country. That's what's going to pay off our debt. And next, we will end the ridiculous and actually incredible waste of taxpayer dollars that is fueling the inflation crisis. They've spent trillions of dollars on things having to do with the Green New Scam. It's a scam. And that's caused tremendous inflationary pressures in addition to the cost of energy. And all of the trillions of dollars that are sitting there not yet spent, we will redirect that money for important projects like roads, bridges, dams, and we will not allow it to be spent on meaningless Green New Scam ideas.
So obviously Trump is catering to his base. I don't know what he means by meaningless green scam ideas, but I think it's funny.
And I will end the electric vehicle mandate on day one. Thereby saving the U.S. auto industry from complete obliteration, which is happening right now, and saving U.S. customers thousands and thousands of dollars per car.
So here, if you're listening to, and I know I keep pausing it, but here's the thing. One of the things that's very different between Trump and Harris's speech is Trump is saying exactly what he plans on doing. Harris is saying it, but it's not exactly. He's literally saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to help with the car manufacturing so cars can be cheaper. Are cars not more expensive now more than ever before? They're more expensive for basic cars, basic transportation. And you know what? People need new vehicles. They do need new vehicles. Transportation needs to get better and need new vehicles because when you buy a vehicle, you pay it off and old vehicles cost money. So he's giving you exactly what he can do or what he plans on doing for the economy if he's elected, of course, what he plans on doing for the economy. And I think this is important when it comes down to both of their speeches of if you're just listening to the RNC speech by Trump and you're listening to the DNC speech by Harris and you're looking at it from a perspective of finances and money, Trump is laying out a much more detailed plan of what he's going to do to make it less money for you to live in America and how you can in turn make more money. But I feel bad for Trump in this aspect. The DNC crowd, am I tripping? But the DNC crowd was on a different level. The RNC crowd is just in their sleep.
And right now, as we speak, large factories just started are being built across the border in Mexico. So with all the other things happening on our border, and they're being built by China to make cars and to sell them into our country, no tax, no anything. The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed for allowing this to happen. And the leader of the United Auto Workers should be fired immediately. And every single auto worker union.
Trump, you're fired.
and non-union should be voting for Donald Trump because we're going to bring back car manufacturing and we're going to bring it back fast. They're building some of the largest auto plants anywhere in the world. Think of it, in the world. We're going to bring it back. We're going to make them. We don't mind that happening, but those plants are going to be built in the United States, and our people are going to man those plants. And if they don't agree with us, we'll put a tariff of approximately 100 to 200% on each car, and they will be unsellable in the United States.
By the way, we do know that Trump is definitely going to do tariffs. That's kind of what he does. So, yeah.
We have long been taken advantage of by other countries.
By the way, I mean, and here's the thing. I don't think, to me, let me say this. I don't think that's debatable. Like, I don't even think that's a bad thing. I personally think that there is many manufacturing jobs that should be in the United States. I think even though it may be cheaper to develop certain things in China, in Mexico, but when you're looking at our economy and we can, at minimum, we're such a consumer, but we don't distribute anything anymore. So having that in the hometown, bringing those jobs back is not a bad thing. I think that does overall help, but it will cost a lot of money. So what I mean by that, these companies are going to come over here without getting a massive tax break. Will that massive tax break that they get, will that cost the American people? Or will it kind of even out because there's going to be more jobs in America, which could drop down the car price? I don't know.
And think of it, oftentimes these other countries are considered so-called allies. They've taken it.
But I do agree with him that I think the countries do take advantage of America a lot. And yeah.
Advantage of us for years. We lose jobs, we lose revenue, and they gain everything and wipe out our businesses, wipe out our people. I stopped it for 4 years. I stopped it. And we're really ready to make changes like nobody had seen before. And remember, USMCA, I got rid of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with USMCA, which is, they say, the best trade deal ever made. Actually, probably the best trade deal was the deal I made with China, where they buy $50 billion worth of our product. They were buying nothing. They buy $50 billion worth. They had to. But I don't even talk about it because of COVID. I don't even mention it, frankly, because of what happened with the China virus.
Trump is just a funny guy, by the way. I mean, hate or love him, that dude is an interesting guy.
He's come in, take our jobs, and plunder our nation. They come and do that. They plunder our nation. The way they will sell their product in America is to build it in America. Very simple. Build it in America and only in America. And this very simple formula, and Congress has to go along with us, and they will. This very simple formula will create massive numbers of jobs. We will take over the auto industry again, and many, many hundreds of thousands of jobs. We lost so many jobs over the years. If you go back 20, 25 years, they've stolen, going to China and Mexico, about 68% of our auto industry manufacturing jobs. We're going to get them all back. We're going to get them all back, every one of them. At the center of our plan for economic relief are massive tax cuts for workers that include something else that's turned out to be very popular, actually. Here it's very popular in this building and all those hotels that I saw that are so nice. I'm staying in a nice one. It's called no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No.
So this is kind of what I had said earlier. It's funny because I want to say that Biden has already put that in play. But Trump, I believe, was the first person to say that, man, we shouldn't tax people on tips. And he tells a story of how he learned it from a waitress. Very interesting. But what's the point? These are all things that, I mean, I don't know about you. These things at least make sense, at least when you're looking at both speeches. Trump's speech is way more. Matter of fact, I will tell you, just doing the time. Trump's speech on just economic growth and benefits is literally pretty much just as long as his part of that is just as long as Kamala's entire speech. So when he wanted to address America, when he knows most people are going to listen to the RNC speech first, right, the coming out party, and addressing his base, but then CNN, everybody's picking it up. When he's doing this, he's really super focused on the plan. And it sounds like he at least has a plan. When you're looking at Kamala, and as we listen to her, there doesn't seem like it's a plan. It seems like it's just, we're gonna end the house and then we'll what did she say? She said we're gonna end the house and then we're gonna give everybody an opportunity, because apparently in America no one has an opportunity in America, or not everyone does not have an opportunity in America. And so her thing was, I mean, just to be honest with you, it just wasn't a lot about the economy. Obviously, we're going to look forward to hearing more from her. She talked about the home shortage, yeah, like, access to capital for businesses. Banks aren't going to be doing a lot of lending when, I mean, people can't afford to lend to borrow money right now. They really can't afford to borrow money. So bringing capital back, access to capital for businesses, I mean, that sounds good, but exactly how? Trump's like, hey, this is how we're going to get your energy costs down. We're going to drill. This is how we're going to get our car prices lower. We're going to bring the manufacturing back here instead of in China and Mexico, and we're going to do that here. This is how we're going to do this. This is what we're going to do to help you in the economy. We didn't hear that from Harris at all. That clearly was not her objective. Like I said, she spoke a lot about, of course, pro-choice. But that wasn't really her objective. I'm going to kind of play a little bit more because he kind of not rambles, but he kind of just goes back over in more detail. But some of the main points that is talked about in the Trump economy, just to kind of go through it, is manufacturing, trade policies, immigration. We didn't really hit on that, but he is going to hit on that heavy. Tax cuts, inflation control, and the energy independence. So that's and if you want to listen to it and go back and hear it in its entirety, I recommend that anyway. But it's being 35 minutes on is really, I mean, most of Trump's speech after he tells a lot of his story is going to be a big part of the economy and how he's going to bring relief to middle America and honestly, and how he's going to help all of America through certain things. You're not hearing that as much from the camp of Harris. So I want to at least bring that up. Let's listen to a little bit more of Trump's plan. I want to try to at least get to the border and how he's going to help with the border crisis of economy-wise, money-wise.
Tax on tips. I got that by having dinner recently. Hello. I'll see you there very soon, everybody. The Trump building on the Strip, and it's a great building, and the waitress comes over. How's everything going? All the time. Actually, they take so much of our 88,000 agents to go after him even. And I said, this shows the level of let me just ask you. I got my information from a very smart waitress. That's better than spending millions of dollars. And everybody.
By the way, the RNC crowd started at least livening up a little bit. Jesus Christ. They did at least start livening up a little bit.
Everybody loves it. waitresses, large group of people. I'm going to protect Social Security and Medicare. Democrats are going to destroy Social Security and Medicare because all of these people, by the millions they're coming in, they're going to be on Social Security and Medicare and other things, and you're not able to afford it. They are destroying your social.
Man, my bad, y'all. I just realized something. I just realized something. You don't even see what I'm looking at. My bad.
Security and your Medicare. Under my plan, incomes will skyrocket, inflation will vanish completely, jobs will come roaring back, and the middle class will prosper.
So that's what he's talking about with Social Security, that people on the border using it or coming in is going to help people. Hold on.
Like never, ever before, and we're going to do it very rapidly. But no hope or dream we have for America can succeed unless we stop the illegal immigrant invasion, the worst that's ever been seen anywhere in the world. There's never been an invasion like this anywhere. Third world countries would fight with sticks and stones not to let this happen. The invasion at our southern border, we will stop it, and we will stop it quickly. You heard Tom Homan yesterday. Tom Homan, put him in charge and just sit back and watch. Brandon Judd, the Border Patrol, he's incredible. These guys, you know, they really, their job is a lot easier if they don't have to do anything, but they want to. They're patriots. Brandon Judd, Border Patrol, ICE. ICE goes probably the worst gang, but they don't want to do this job. Gangs in the world, 4 years flying, you see, they take them back and they get them out of economic aid anymore. And the next day I got calls from all of these countries that were terminated. Billions of dollars we spend on economic aid to countries that does us, frankly, no good. And the next day I was called by everybody. I couldn't take all the calls. Sir, what's the problem? I said, you won't take your killers back that you sent in caravans into America. You won't take them back. Well, sir, if you'd like us to, we would give very serious consideration back. For years and years, when I first came in, they said President Obama tried to get him to go back, and they wouldn't accept him. They'd put planes on the runway so you couldn't lead the plane. They'd close the road so you couldn't take the bus kind to any country. We love them very much. Very much, sir. We'll take them back. This border nightmare and fully restore the sacred and sovereign borders of the United States. Drill, baby, drill, and close our borders. And by the way, and I think everybody as a Republican, as a patriot in this room, and most Democrats, we want people to come into our country, but they have to come into our country legally. The strongest border in America. That was the chart that saved my life. I said, oh, there it is. Chart. But without that. I said, you got to see this chart. I was so proud of it. And by the time I got to down, I was very proud of that arrow. Recorded. And that was my life. You go out a little bit further, you can go. We had the opposite. We stopped the invasion, but after I all catch and release, historic agreement immediately, and you were deported. So many people, hundreds of thousands of people, have been working for years to come into our country. Unfair. Action ended, remain in Mexico. We had a policy with if you don't give it to us, there will be repercussions. That's catch and release. It took 93. This is the country because of this very foolish administration. The Middle East, they're coming from everywhere. They're coming. The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He'd love to have you for dinner. That's insane asylums. They're never seen before. They're criminals, and because he's a wonderful, he's training them. And his people that are out already, getting away with what they're getting away. In Venezuela, we will have our next Republican convention in Venezuela. Convinced them, and bad things are going to happen.
Okay, I'm looking for, there's a part of here, I can't find it. My timestamps are all messed up.
Or otherwise, isn't it? See, in the old days, they'd say, that's a wonderful thing. Now they say, how could you possibly do that? But he paid the biggest price of any senator ever to run for the Senate. I don't think any, Your Excellency, I doubt it. 60 miles away, Mr. Congressman, from Miami, by the way, happened with just a telephone call. Power of American innovation. And as we do, we will soon be on the verge of finding the cures to cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and many other.
Okay, my bad. I think I missed it somewhere. I'm not sure where I missed it at. But here's the thing. He talks about on the border part. I have it in my notes. Man, I don't know why am I stopped. See, this is why I can't take too many long breaks with Joe Castro show. I can't take long breaks, which I didn't mean to. But he particularly mentions, and I cannot find it. All the he talks about the jobs and then advocating. That's when he would advocate for a stronger border because he thinks that with Social Security, a lot of people coming in, and with Social Security and with some of the other types of jobs, he feels like that would strengthen the economy back up because we're putting away or we're just losing jobs and affecting our Social Security. By the way, Social Security was already tore up from the flow up before people started really coming to this country. So yeah, I mean, we was already losing it either way. So what's my point? I want to end with this. So I'm looking at between Trump and Harris. My opinion, I have not finished listening to other speeches, other arrangements from them. But for me, when I'm listening to both of them from the RNC to the DNC, their speeches, one of them is way more, it's clear that Trump is much more on the economic growth, stability, and really truly putting money back into people's pockets and opening other opportunities as America as a whole to be able to bring in more money and it'd be cheaper for us. Kamala did not have a lot to say about the economy in her speech, being, yes, much shorter, but she didn't have much to say. Her focus is much more on cultural things, which I don't think is a negative. But I will say that for us who are business owners, and you're watching Joe Castro show, and you're looking at how will this help me financially up to this point, and I had to give a win to either one when it comes down to the RNC, DNC speech of what I feel like would help me more and maybe people in America more financially from a financial standpoint. I have to say, I believe that Trump's plan that he discussed in the RNC speech was much more clear, and I can see the vision of how it helps a business owner and how it helps average Americans, middle America. The thing I did not like that Kamala said was when she said that there's no opportunity. Well, there's not an opportunity for everyone in this country. I completely disagree. Now, either way, guys, I appreciate you guys getting on. Please subscribe, follow, like, share. I'm going to be turning it up with way more talks about money, the economy, and who we should really be voting for as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as contractors, or as just middle America who just wants to be more financially free, more financially independent, where you want your money to go further so you can make good financial decisions, so you can invest, so you can become wealthy. So we're going to have a lot more conversation on what president would fit that better for you. Whether it's going to be Trump or whether it's going to be Kamala Harris. We're going to have that discussion a lot more. But tonight, I'm going to have to give the first W, the first win, when it's just looking at the speeches of what I can see clearly who's more focused on economic growth that can help me as a business owner or America financially. I'm going to have to give it to Trump and the RNC. So now, don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, share. Appreciate you jumping on, whether you're watching live or after the fact. Subscribe, comment on Twitch, comment on YouTube. I love to be able to hit your comments. If you think that I was wrong, if you think that Trump had way too many lies, if he exaggerated too many things, if you think that Kamala was just pandering and BSing, by all means, please talk about it. Let's get the conversation going. This is what's really needed in America today, is the conversation behind our politicians. That being said, you guys have a great one. Man, go out there, get that money, get that cash flow. Man, have a great night. I'm going to see y'all next week on Live on the Joe Cash Flow Show at 10 p.m. on Friday. Peace.